Yo, what's going on here, boys? Today we're back with another video of spinning the wheel on NQ in 2022 with my liquidity supply and demand model. I trade it a lot different than most people trade it, but for the back testing sake of things, I'm just kind of go through, not go super in depth to kind of leak everything that I use, but in depth enough to understand why I would take and why I would skip trades. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know y'all fuck with the hoodie, bro. Hoodie's tough as fuck. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna hop right into it. I'm literally just gonna pull up the wheel. We're gonna spin every single month. We've done February and we've done November now. So we have every other month to do. And yeah, I'll pull up the wheel and we'll see what we get this month. All right, so here we are on the wheel. So we got February last time, so we're gonna delete February. And so now we have January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. November we got last time, and then December is not included because I only trade 2 weeks of that. So yeah, we're gonna see what we get this month, and then we're just gonna literally hop right on the charts and back test it. So we'll see. And May. All right, we got May. Go right here. Quick understanding, anyone new watching this video and doesn't know how my strategy is. So let's say we have a trending market like so. My strategy is something along the lines of this, where price is trending up like this. We have higher highs and higher lows, right? And we have a level of liquidity below a strong low where liquidity, sell side liquidity is resting, right? And price may come down. And instead of putting in a higher low, we actually take this internal low as liquidity, and then we react from key area to the left. That key area is a demand zone that we look for. We look for a demand zone, we look for a liquidity sweep to the left. And we have certain criteria that has to be met for this demand zone to be valid. And if it is, then we take a long position if it's within trend. So that's kind of a core understanding. It's, liquidity supply and demand is exactly what it looks like. It's liquidity supply and demand, right? Normal supply and demand is buying at these lows right here, right? And liquidity supply and demand is waiting for an internal level of liquidity to be taken. Now, that is just the entry model. It goes so in depth, but I don't really talk about it on YouTube. But just for anyone new, that's, quick understanding of it. So let's go straight to 2022 of May. Make sure I don't think I have anything tested, but straight back to then. And this is literally what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through, and I have a session indicator that turns on at 4:30. So it'll turn on at 4:30 and it will go until 10 a.m. So that is literally my session indicator. And yeah, we're gonna go through day by day. See, I have no clue, literally no clue what this is gonna bring us. I have no clue if it's gonna be a slow month, fast month. This could be a very boring video, or it could be a video with a lot of setups. I literally don't know. So all we can do is just sit here and wait and see. And yeah, so we actually have one setup right here, which I don't think anyone would even take. I don't think the liquidity is even valid, but you'd say there's a rough area of demand right here, right? And there's really no valid liquidity, right? So you might see this as liquidity right here, but at least for me and for my strategy, when we have a level of liquidity like that, we want to see that low take out its previous internal high, which would kind of be up there, right? We never really saw that. So obviously, I wouldn't be taking a trade like that. It's not really even valid for our strategy. It's a whole different strategy, realistically. But yeah, we see what we get here. New York will open up around 9:30 because I'm in Eastern Standard Time. After 9:30, it gets really, really volatile. We really only trade those 30 minutes after it opens up, and then that's pretty much it for the day. So, yeah, you would see it all the time get really, really volatile, and that's exactly why. There's no setups. So we have supply zone up here. I don't think we tapped yet. No. I was not taking that zone anyways, but I was gonna narrate why I would lose, and it's because we already took liquidity right there and a bunch of other reasons as well, but New York Open, very volatile. Again, I could literally fast forward, like go back in my editing and skip every day that there's not a trade, right? So it's like you guys don't have to watch this. But for me, I'm just trying to keep it as transparent as I possibly can. So like show you guys that I'm not, you know, trying to cherry pick a bunch of trades. So I'm just gonna let it go, literally put 0 cuts in the video and go from there. So right here we have a trade. We have a demand zone right here. Just gave our valid entry candle. This is kind of the thing I was talking about, guys, with the liquidity. How you want to look for, like, you know, trending markets, you could say, and an important level of liquidity and price to take that liquidity and tap it to a demand zone to continue your bullish trade there. So just check this setup out real quick. Tell you what, boys, as good as this trade looks internally, higher time frame, I have a feeling, you know, we're going to be reacting from a area, and with this consolidation, you know, again, I'm not going in depth in this video at all. I'm not doing it. Anything, any advanced concepts, anything, you know, keeping for myself in a community that I'm working on. I'm not putting anything on YouTube here. So, that being said, LSD, right? Normal liquidity, supply and demand. This trade actually looks really, really good. We're taking out highs. Nice level of liquidity. Nice reaction too, right? But for me, I'm personally going to skip this trade as well. Actually, do we have news right here? No, I don't think that's important news. That's important news. This isn't. No, that isn't really news, I don't think. For me, as good as this looks, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I feel as if we're going to target lower, but we'll see. Could be totally wrong, we'll see. We did target lower. There's a couple reasons for that. I'm not going to really get into in depth, but again, I just felt as if we were going to target lower prices under all of this generated sideways movement there, and it's kind of what that did. So that's first setup of May, that normal liquidity, supply and demand. You'd be taking this trade 100% of the time, right? It's a great looking trade, and it would lose. So that's that. That's that for that day. So on to the next. Oh shit, I went too fast. I didn't think the session started already. Nothing yet. And this could be a really slow month. I don't know. No clue. Go to the next day. Alright, here we start the next day. Nothing valid, nothing valid. I was gonna say there's technically a demand here, but I wouldn't take it. Didn't even give an entry candle anyway, so doesn't matter. Okay, here's a demand right here. I went too fast, guys. I'm sorry. I think anyone, honestly, wouldn't even take this trade anyways. You guys can see the trend right here, even on the 5-minute, clear as day. And we fell to really displace past the previous high right here. We have a demand right here. Right? Demand right here, liquidity. We failed to even take out these previous highs. All we did was just take out the liquidity on this end, and we're going to continue down with this bearish trend, right? And you would have gotten your entry candle right there. So that would have been the second trade normal LSD would take, and that trade obviously lost. I apologize, I did go too fast, but you know, price is going to continue this internal trend, you know. as far as we know right now. It's kind of clear as day. That's pretty obvious, to be fair. So yeah, that's the second position. Like the entry model gets thrown at you every single day, damn near. I mean, it really realistically it does with all these different pairs. It realistically damn near comes up every single day. So you have to understand when to use it, when not to use it. So that's position number 2. Let's see if there's any other. It gives us any other entries in any supply zone. No, I don't see so. 8:30. This is news. New York comes in. That's it for that day. All right. Okay, right there. We have a trade, and it's invalid. Never mind. Why is it invalid? It's invalid just because we wicked above our supply zone right there. We have a supply zone. We wicked above. That's just kind of, you know, for our mechanical rule side of things, that just makes the trade invalid. And did end up, you know, losing anyways. So there's that. But yeah. Very volatile right now. It's because New York. There's nothing. All right. Demand, that's invalid. Demand resting down here. I don't know if we'll come down to it or not. Still no. And it's invalid. Close inside. Everything's getting invalidated. Demand invalid. Another demand sitting right down here. See if it even gives an entry candle, and it did give an entry candle. But there's really no liquidity. It's just demand. So, and that entry right there, I mean, you might have been able to catch a 1 to 2 within that. It's kind of hard to say. That's the only issue with trading right after New York, but that isn't really even valid for a strategy. There's just no liquidity. It's just reacting from a demand zone, to be fair. So yeah, still pretty dry. There was not too much trades. Wow, okay, that's pretty much it for that day. No weekly top wick, so keep that in mind. Okay. This trade is invalid to close inside. Trade right here. It's invalid anyways. I'm gonna say there's trade right here, demand zone, followed by a level of liquidity. And it closed inside this, so it's not valid. New York open. I was gonna say there's a supply zone that reacted off here, but you'd just never be able to get an entry anyways. All price did was take out. Well, actually, there's really no liquidity even there either, so I lied. There's really not too much here to go over, to be fair. So far. There we go. There's demand, but there's no valid liquidity for our strategy. I might continue up. I did continue up. Yeah, so like right here, you have demand, but there's no valid liquidity because these are just lower lows and none of them ever took out their previous highs. So it's all this realistically is price runs up and internally has an internal downtrend, kind of like that, how we just consistently put in lower highs. And then all we do is after we fill in this absolute, you know, big move we had up internally, then we just continue up. And sometimes, luckily, that continuation up will spark from that last demand candle. So that's just kind of pure luck. You know, that's not really a strategy or within our strategy by any means. But yeah, just gonna, you know, mark out that, yeah, there is a demand zone there, but fortunately, no valid liquidity. Still nothing. Go. Demand sitting down here, invalid. Still no liquidity. Demand down here. This is after New York Open, so you're really not going to get any entries. And plus, we're kind of bearish anyways. I mean, yeah, there's a reason with this type of stuff that we're going to be targeting lower to manipulate. That's kind of what we did. Yeah, so like I said, I'll, you know, trying to make these videos interesting, but there's really not much I can do because I'm trying to be transparent at the same time, not put any cuts in the video. And so you can watch me just backtest this, because this is the reality. You know, not every month is going to have 20% months with 90% win rate and whatever you see on the internet. This is the truth. And we don't just trade NQ, right? We trade gold as well. We trade oil as well with futures. So, you know, NQ could have one setup or two setups a month that hits a 1 to 4, but gold could have the exact same thing. And then so could oil. And then you pair all that together, and before you know it, you have a 10-12% month. And that's fully realistic too. Like, if one month you get one nice 1 to 4 on NQ, same thing on gold, maybe the same thing on oil, that's a 12% month. Now granted, yes, that's with taking no losses. Yes, of course, right? But for me, you know, I'm very picky with my setups. I literally cut out so many losses, and I really don't cut out any wins. I mean, most of these that win are just valid for me. I'm just purely cutting out losses because I'm understanding the market on a deeper level for some of the things I'm using. And I think, you know, that's truly how it should be done, right? Is, you know, it's not these crazy numbers that you're making every month. It's more or less like once you have the funding, bro, like, dude, 4% a month on, like, if you're copy trading 3 past 100Ks, 4% a month is 12 grand a month, risking 1%. 4%, and 4% like super achievable, right? You know, besides slow months, right? February, I literally took 2 break-even trades because I saw nothing, and everyone mostly ended February red, right? I know there was a person or two that ended it green, and that's because, you know, they're trading completely different time zones as me. And NQ did have some good positions, but they were like 1 in the morning. So, you know, nothing I could do there. But yeah, I mean, if everyone's ending a month red and it's because it was a bad month and I'm able to just end it break even because I skipped all the losses, I will gladly take that. You know, in my eyes, it takes more skill set to do that rather than anything else. So we have a supply zone right here. With this internal level liquidity, right? This would be, you know, even though it was taken right there, and normal liquidity supply and demand eyes, anyone teaching the model, they would tell you, you know, most likely this is a valid setup. And for me, I'm not personally going to take this trade. I know it went a candle too fast, but it still doesn't, you know, determine if it won or lost. For me, it already took the liquidity, and yeah, there's some things to the left as well that, you know, I feel that price may continue bullish, but we'll see. That's what we did. I mean, We came down, put in a lower low, but internally we did take another high. So two things we could have done. Me personally, right? I thought as if, you know, this could be an area that price may want to continue higher. Even internally, I know that we're probably going to continue higher. And why? Because internally we're going to take liquidity. And did we take liquidity and manipulate the zone? Not really, because we already took it right here and tried to push lower and we failed. So all this is doing right here is just fueling a move to target higher liquidity. So this zone has no liquidity sitting in front of it. So why would you short here? See what I'm saying? And that's very like, I tell people that and they're like, oh, you're dropping so much shots, bro. That's the most basic things. Like, you wait till you really understand how this market works, and you start, like, I'm still learning stuff every single day, and it's like, bro, what I'm putting on YouTube is like very minute, tiny stuff, and it's helping a lot of people. So, I mean, I'm glad. I get a lot of DMs and stuff all the time, and I really appreciate it. But like, what I'm putting on YouTube especially is really not that deep of concepts either with LSD. So, you know, definitely goes really in depth. I mean, bro, there's been no setups, I swear. There's 3 that was skipped. That was it. We haven't had a good one that I would have taken yet. Eventually demand. Nope. Demand here, that's invalid. That's it for that session. Okay, there's demand sitting under here. Might get a trade, we'll see. Bro. I swear, bro. Demand right here. Liquidity, we already took liquidity. So I'm not gonna be obviously looking for that trade anymore. Damn, bro, there's a short that I completely missed. Be always going too fast. Let me mark this one out. And this is gonna go into some higher time frame stuff that I really didn't want to drop on YouTube. And obviously I know the outcome of this, but I'm gonna be 100% transparent for you guys and give a reason if I would take this trade or if I would not take this trade. We're overall bearish. Okay, so we're gonna be inclined towards sells. All this internally is doing is filling in, you know, this massive move, right? Or, you know, massive move to the downside. All internally we're doing is filling this in. We don't know exactly where we're going to continue down from. It could be right here, right? We could just push down a little bit and then come up higher and then go down. We don't know. We have literally no clue, right? So internally, I'm seeing some areas that, you know, I don't want to mark out, but within this move that could potentially, you know, prices respecting very good in the sell side direction. Let me come up one more time to take out these highs as buy side liquidity, and it kind of gives a sequence that I talk about within a community about if we may continue down or not. And let's look internally as well. I could really pick this chart apart, but I don't really want to go in depth. I'm gonna make a full-on prediction before this even plays out, so you guys know I'm not lying to you. If we want to continue up, we're gonna come down here. If we want to continue up, we're gonna come down here. We're gonna come down into this area right here. We're gonna move down within this area or down to here if we want to continue up. That's my 2 pinpoints. If we're going to continue down, then we're just going to continue down. So taking that into consideration, looking on your higher time frame, understanding that we may internally flip bearish, and internally understand that, hey, there's lower levels to be targeted internally, even though higher time frame we might be bullish. This wouldn't be a bad trade to take, to be fair. This really realistically would not be a bad trade to take. Now, I would personally enter break of candle if I could, right? because this is already a pretty big candle. But this is one of those trades you want to be careful with what you're targeted either. You could target for 1 to 4s, but you have to understand the higher time frame. We're not 100% certain that this internal movement up is done and we're going to continue down. We don't know, right? So you have to really be careful. Now for me, I suspect lower prices, so I'm going to be targeting lower prices. But we'll see what happens. And it won't stop. There we go. So that's what happened there. And at least I didn't play it too fast to where it actually won or not, because it was only sitting around here when I played. So this trade 100% could have still lost, could have still won. And yeah, it's more of a higher time frame type thing where understanding where price is within this leg, there's something I can pinpoint literally, exactly what we're gonna do, or not what we're gonna do, where we could potentially react from, and how we just took these last highs and started to lose off volume, and then internally, there's a whole bunch of stuff I can go into depth with. I'm just not even gonna mention it, but at the end of the day, I expected lower prices. I told you guys, if we're gonna continue up, we're gonna take out these levels. And what did we do? We took out those levels, we tried to push up, and then we failed. We took those after New York Open. And right after New York Open, there's something the first, I'm not even gonna say it. New York can be manipulative, that's all I'm gonna say. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But yeah, that's a totally fair trade. I told you guys if we're gonna continue up, we're gonna take out these lows and continue up. If not, we're just gonna continue down. That's essentially what we did. We took out exact area that I said we're gonna take out if we wanted to continue up. We took it in a manipulative manner and then we failed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. And that's literally our first half decent trade so far into May. And normally, it's funny how these good trades that look good on the 5-minute time frame lose, and then these trades that kind of look stupid on the 5-minute time frame win. And it's because you have to understand other sides of the market. It's not just this. But to give you guys context, is price. This is your level of liquidity that price is taking. This. God damn, bro. This is your internal level of liquidity that we're taking before we continue down to target lower prices. Whether price is going to continue up in the higher time frame or not, I'm still suspecting internally we're going to target lower prices before we continue up, and that's kind of what we did right there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. I'm going to try not to go too fast anymore, don't worry. But what is going on? There we go. 430. There we go. All right. Nothing. Bro. Not even gonna say anything. Going too fast, bro. That's all my fault. There's another trade up here. A beautiful trade, bro. I be going too fucking fast, bro. What the fuck? What the hell? Genuinely, what the hell, bro? This is what I be doing in backtesting too. Cause when you're actually in live markets, these candlesticks are playing out so slow that so you can sit here and be like, cool. There's a supply zone here, okay, that I'm watching. Cool. There's a supply zone here that I'm watching, cool. And then you wait for price to go there. But in backtesting, you run through it and it's just like shit, and then you see everything. I'm gonna try to narrate these too as best as I can for you guys. So we know higher time frame we're bearish, right? That's kind of just what we just did in this last leg. We internally ran up and we had this big drop off. Now, since it fell so hard, right, we're just kind of coming up to rebalance, and price starts consolidating, right? Price starts consolidating, makes an internal higher high, and then that's when we start making our lower lows. And that's when we retrace, and then that's when we start making our lower lows. And then we retrace, and then lower lows. Now, at some point on a higher time frame, yes, this is gonna flip bullish at some point. We don't really know, right? We just have to, be careful for that. I suspect it kind of happening soon, I'm not gonna lie, from this chart, but as of right now, with this overextension, right, and price drops and we react from, you know, some things I'm not gonna talk about, price internally comes up to fill in this overextension right here. And when that comes up and we start heading to the downside, that's where you have internal trades like this. Now this is a little, you know, this is pushing it, right? I don't know personally I would take this or not. I don't even think it's valid for the actually it's not valid for the strategy. We want to see 2 candles usually. Yeah, you want to see 2 candles of liquidity for our any zone, and this is always 1. And if it's 1 candle liquidity, you want to see a fake out, but there's no fake out. So this isn't even valid actually for a strategy at all. Even though I guess it did end up going to the downside, that really isn't valid. The only trade realistically that is valid would be this one. And why is this one so good? Well, it's good because we went to the downside and we took out all of these lows, and we still have liquidity resting up here. So all price does is come up and take it in a manipulative manner. When it takes that in a manipulative manner after New York Open, you want to be on your game. Like, you know, you can't be waiting for candle closes. That's the problem. After New York, if you're going to take a zone, take it. Like, really, really aggressively. Because if not, you're just not even going to get the opportunity. And right here would be that entry. If you waited for candle close, then just skip the position, bro. Like, that's the thing. Like, just skip the position. Now, this trade would have hit in 1-4, would have hit these lows, you know, and get a higher time frame real quick. Yeah, there's some reasons to target lower, and that's kind of what we did as well. Just how hard we ran up realistically, and I mean that's really a fine trade, and that's the thing. Like, I hate doing this because I keep going super fast, but we're just going to leave it at that, you know. Hopefully, you guys can see that I'm trying to give you a good reason on what makes these trades valid, what makes these trades not valid. And these, I told you guys, that higher time frame, we're reacting from something here to the left. We're starting to lose steam, buying pressure, right? And we're targeting an internal level that even if we're going to continue bullish, I still think internally we're going to target a deep or a lower level, right? Whether price makes a whole lower low, or whether price just targets an internal low, I still think price is going to go lower. And that's where it went. Because I told you guys before that even hit TP realistically, I was just sitting right here in the middle, right? This trade still could have ran up and lost. So there's that. This one, obviously, I couldn't do much about. I fully admit that I went too fast and I did not see this setup in time. But hopefully you guys can see the understanding of that is that we still have lots of gaps down here, right? We still have lots of, you know, movement that we got initially from that buy side. And again, same thing, we're starting to lose steam and we start internally taking out lows, and then all we're doing is retracing, taking out lows again, and there's so much liquidity resting here for us to take. That is like the most basic thing, and that's going to be like really eye-opening for some people. But it's like, bro, this, if I was recording this within this community, I would pick this chart apart and label everything on exactly where we're reacting from. And I do it every single morning, and I literally been calling price for the last month, like straight almost every single day on where price is going to go, and it's spot on. It's crazy. But yeah, if you would have taken that position, you know, that would have been that one. But let's just go to the next day. I really got to slow it down here. I keep saying that, but I keep going too fast. All right, we're slow now. We're slow. No trades. Be as slow as we can, bro. No supply zones. I'm not going to be taking any supplies right now. How hard we're coming up. Demand's resting down here. Did we tap into the zone? Hopefully we did, because that means I'm not going too fast. Come on. Bro, no we didn't. Hold on. And it's valid. Nothing. Okay. Supply zone. Holy, I didn't go too fast. Supply zone, okay? 1 candle liquidity. Did we get a fake out? Yes, and this, in my eyes, this is a fake out when we come up and reject that really, really hard, and then we push past it. That is a fake out in my eyes, so this trade is valid. Holy, okay. So let's understand. We gotta get a better understanding of everything here. So, price is, we know, trending down, right? And we're kind of just now in this area. So it's kind of hard to, you know, give a clear trend. Could we target lower? Yeah. Could we target higher? Yeah, we could. You know, this is a really hard overextension, and we never really filled any of it in, right? We just kept continuing lower. So there's a high chance that we could push up. There's also a high chance that, you know, we could just continue and do one more leg lower before going up. It's kind of one of those things that is like, it could definitely go either way. And, you know, we got to be very careful of that. Me personally, with everything I'm showing you guys, 5-minute time frame, yes, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it really does look good, right? It looks good. You know, it looks good internally. You know, we're coming up and just continue. It looks good. I just have a feeling we're gonna go higher, but we're gonna see. Nope, and I lied. Yeah, we continued lower. So, you know, that's one of those trades that, again, I could be totally wrong, right? I called 4 trades I was going to lose. This one, you know, may have went higher, right? I told you guys it could really go both ways. And it's up to you if you want to put that risk on, right? So, like, me skipping this trade and it win, and then me skipping the 5 other losses that I skipped, you know what I mean? It all equals out. So it's totally, you know, up to you what type of trader you want to be. For me, it's just, it could go either way. So it depends, you know, if you want to put risk on, if you're chilling on your accounts and you want to put risk on, then go for it. If not, you know, then don't do it. And me in live markets, I could go in higher time frames. I could use the fundamentals on trade save, and I could use all of these things to my advantage and get a better understanding that may have caused me to take this trade, right? But I'm not really going to do that back testing, to be fair, and I'm not going to go in depth with everything. You know, I have a bunch of things that I use that quite frankly, I can't really use in back testing and show you guys. So, you know, I'm kind of raw dogging it here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So, yeah. But yeah, there's that position. So, okay, May actually did pick up then, because they gave us what, 3 1-4s, 2 1-4s that I would have taken. So I mean, that's a great month realistically. Nothing. Okay. Valid. Demand right here, beautiful trade, and it's invalid though. That's it for that day. Wow, really overextended. Nothing. It's the last day of May, I believe. Unless there's May 31st. I don't really know if there's May 31st or not. Got a demand right here, that's pretty nice. Okay, I didn't go too fast either, thank God. So let's talk about this one. Liquidity's a bit far, okay? Let's go on a higher time frame and understand where we're at, because we're gonna react from anything yet, but you're really overextended. purely just how overextended this is, guys, even though we didn't really react from anything yet, just purely off of the overextension of how far this leg is and how far the liquidity is, my guess internally is we're going to see something like this, where price may just kind of come up internally and continue down, right? It could just straight up go down. But if we're going to see anything, we're going to see an internal move up and then a continuation down. And why I say that is because when you get that internal move up, that can print these demand zones like this. That makes it good to take like this, right? Internally, I bet you we run up to like right in this area and then we continue down. Or we just straight up continue down. I'm not going to take this trade. This is a perfectly valid trade to take. A lot of people would be taking this trade. Liquidity right there, right? I would not be taking this trade. What did I say? Literally calling the markets to a T. I told you guys we're going to run up here. And, you know, there's reasons for that. And then we're going to continue down. That's exactly what we did. So, you know, I'm skipping that position. It's for me. See if there's 31st. There is 31st. Okay, bet. Oh, shit. I went too fast. Making sure there's no setups. Okay. All right. Okay, we got another trade. Valid. So your entry would be you could get a flip here, you get a candle close, whatever you kind of prefer. Let's see what we're reacting from specifically. Yeah, we still have a lot of things to, I don't want to really get in detail by any means, but I feel like we still have a lot of things to target below her, to be fair. And internally, I mean, look at this. People can always say, yeah, take every single NAS demand. You know, I was personally kind of taught that a lot as well. It was like every single NAS demand is like a great demand because we're overall bullish, but like they just don't understand it's because it's a bullish indice and NAS gives more demand opportunities rather than short positions. That doesn't mean take every single demand, right? It just means, you know, technically speaking, it's going to print more demand zones. For me, again, we might see something like this and, you know, maybe one more bullish candle, if that, and a continuation down. I'm not going to take this trade. I could pick this chart apart. I see like 10 different things. I'm going to skip this trade. That's exactly what we did. We just ran down, and then we did end up, you know, coming up. So, yeah, like I said, we come down, and you'll get that internal retracement like that, right? Whether it's right there, whether it's right up in here, wherever it is, you're going to get that internal retracement that makes it look like it's a good trade to take, and then we target lower, right? We finally go to, you know, a little bigger of a retracement, and then we continue lower. Is that a supply zone? No, that's not. But yeah, for me, that's kind of, you know, a clear trade to not skip. I don't know how many I skipped now, like 6, I think it is. So that's it. That's it for me, boys. So 2 trades I would have taken, 6 I would have skipped. 6 losses, 1 that would have hit a 1 to 4. I can't say for confidence backtesting like this if, you know, I would have skipped it or anything, because I'm doing things a lot slower. I'm using things that I'm not putting on this YouTube video. That's, you know, helps me a lot. I use trade safe fundamentals as well. All of this stuff ties in to where, you know, that trade could have been a fully valid trade to take. But, you know, for me, backtesting results, not using everything I have at my fingertips to put on these charts to, you know, so I don't kind of give everything away, could definitely change the outcome of that. Either way, me skipping those low quality setups saved me, what, 6 losses, potential 1 to 4. If you add all those together, it still would have been down 2%. There's the 2 trades I would have taken for the month.
would have just resulted in a pure 8%. Again, that winner I could have, right? I don't know what I would do live market, right? Live market could be completely different. You know, I could be using a bunch of factors that I don't have, you know, that I'm using on these YouTube videos. I could use, again, fundamentals, all of this stuff, right? It's not an excuse for why I didn't take it in backtesting. I'm just telling you guys that result live market could be completely different, right? But for the backtesting result, I'm going to keep it 100% transparent with you guys. Or say the 8%, just the 2 1-to-4s that I would have taken, right? So yeah, an 8% month, and we say we skipped everything else, an 8% month. That's a great month. That's literally a great month. And that's on NQ, right? Gold. You know what, boys? Let me see what gold printed, because I have the 22 data, I believe, right here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm literally gonna pull this up because we could potentially just kind of add all these together and get a rough estimate of, you know, what it would be in, what is this month? May. In May. So gold had a 1-to-4 and then 2 losses. So gold would have had another 2%. So that would have been and that was, yeah, I backtested those a long time ago. So, I mean, me personally, I'm always getting better, I feel like. So, you know, maybe there would have been a loss in there or 2 that maybe I wouldn't take nowadays. I don't know. But we still say what the data is a 1-to-4 and 2 losses. So, like, that's another 2% added. So, you know, that'd be a 10% month, right? That's a 10% month. If you would have taken that other NQ short, that would have been a, 14% month, bro? Like, and that's 2 pairs. We trade oil as well. Oil was a lot slower. And then we trade the JPY pairs. And then we trade 30-minute pairs. Like, the strategy eats. The strategy's not going anywhere. It eats, right? You just have to know what to take and what not to take. Because if we would have taken all those other setups, we would have closed the month. What? If we would have taken 2 1-to-4s and took the losses, that would have been like a 2% month. And that, you know, that's a clear difference right there. Literally a clear difference. Even if we took that other trade and it would have won, so it would have been a 6% month. So just taking the 2 high quality setups, 8%, and skipping everything else, like, bro, that's great. That's literally great results. That's amazing results. Again, you know, you're copy trading on, you know, your max allocation, 50Ks, 100Ks, whatever you're trading on. 8% is a great month. That is a great month. So yeah, I mean, those higher RRs, I believe that CFDs are actually kind of better for that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think futures is a lot better for getting those, you know, kind of scalp type positions, those smaller, maybe 1-to-2s, 1-to-3s, so you can lock in some payouts. Whereas CFDs accounts, you can definitely go for those 1-to-4s, 100%, right? You know, the payout rules is a lot simpler, just really in terms of that. That's really it. But yeah, there we have it, guys. I spun a wheel again in an NQ in 2022. None of it was tested. You guys literally watched me. May, 8%. Again, I called every single loser why I was going to lose, and I told you guys every single winner. You know, I really can't make more up at all. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, boys. And yeah, we're going to spin the wheel again on some other video, and we're just going to pretty much keep going until we get the entire year done. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, you think I missed something, maybe potentially I missed a setup, or if you have a question why I skipped a certain setup, I'm going to try to give you, you know, an answer. Again, I can only do so much in these YouTube videos. There's a lot of guys that, and I don't want to say names, but if anyone's watching this video, I'm sure you guys understand, you know, some people like to watch my content and just straight up take it and then start teaching their students and start making Instagram reels and start making YouTube videos about the topics I'm talking about. And they're supposed to be the mentors in the space. They're supposed to be the guys that have been trading the strategy long enough. They don't know fucking shit. They don't know shit. I mean, and that's the sad reality of it. I mean, they're just LARPing course sells. It's kind of sad. Full-grown men doing this, but I just have to be careful on what I say on here. You know, I have to be really, really careful. I can't really give too much, you know, analysis on what I'm using and stuff. So, like, that's why these backtesting, for me, it's kind of a little bit harder because I can't really use everything to my advantage as I normally would use to my advantage, right? So I just kind of have to, again, raw dog it and, you know, kind of give you guys some understanding the market without really giving, you know, any deep stuff at all. And yeah, hopefully I'm able to help some of you guys out there. I know, again, a lot of you guys said I was, so I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, boys. I'll catch you guys on the next one.